Hello guys, Chan Uncle Mackie here. Well, it's a little bit dark, cold and windy outside, so that's why I decided to make the video indoors. So hopefully you are not getting bored about my apartment background setups. Yeah, today I'm going to talk about another topic, which is about the Chinese people living abroad. Well, I'm not going to talk about this topic in general, but I'm going to put it to talk about the specific cases which are my Chinese colleagues who are living abroad. I'm working in a global company, so which means I have my Chinese colleagues who were working in China for the company. Then lately they got a chance to move to the other countries outside of China, living abroad in the other countries, especially the Western countries such as USA, Canada, or here in Sweden, in Europe, so and so. So, we do have such kind of like WeChat group that we have all the people, Chinese people living overseas, and we share our life in the other countries. We share our expat life and perspectives and opinions, especially the lifestyles and so. But recently I was kind of like irritated and frustrated when I talk to those colleagues. Some of them I know them, some of them I don't know them. But when I say I don't know them, which means I don't got a chance, I don't have a chance to talk to them face to face, but we still chat to each other once a while in the group. So the first very typical opinion, or the first very irritating talking points, or they try to parroting some kind of media talking points, is the country where they are living. Maybe for specifically one colleague from Canada, or he lives in Canada, and he was talking about Montreal. I think Montreal is a city. I think it's quite a big city in Canada. I haven't been there, but he was putting the conversation into like, here it's a village. He called Montreal as a village in Chinese. In Mandarin, he called it Mengcun, right? Mengcun means cun is a village, so Montreal is a village to him, because he think it's not like the Chinese cities are that technologically advanced in some of the sense. Although I don't think it's a valid point, and so he was like kept saying Montreal isn't that advanced, it's a boring lifestyle over there, and China is good in this way and that way, especially maybe in Shanghai or Beijing, so and so. That was kind of irritated me, because the conception of a advanced city in the Western world, or in the democracy countries, are quite different as China, but he has such kind of mindset, and he think in China, maybe in Shanghai, you got those like high rise up skyscrapers, or pub street, or so and so. I think in New York or in Toronto, it's also the same, right? The difference is in China, maybe you got the digital currencies, or mobile payment, maybe it's everywhere, but it's not in that way, right? It's not in the third tier or three tier cities. It's just some kind of like first tier city like Shanghai, Beijing, or Guangzhou, or Shenzhen. You got some advanced area. I did a lot of vlogs, right? Even in Shanghai, it's not like a futuristic city. Some part of the Shanghai city is futuristic, but it doesn't mean the whole Shanghai metropolitan is that advanced. And especially if you just get out a little bit to the suburb of Shanghai, maybe sometimes you will find a totally different situation. I made videos about that, right? But when they talk about that in a way, it's kind of like they are trying to belittle the place where they are living in Canada, and they try to speak how great China is. So this is the main problem when I talk to those colleagues. I don't mean everyone, from China is acting in that way, but a lot of times, in the majority of the way, you will find those kind of people. Well, I was talking about, if you don't really like the place where you are living, you can just go back home, right? What's the point just to stay in a place that you think it's not that advanced and it is poor or something, right? And but they are trying to debate with me how great China is, or more specifically, how great Shanghai is. Well, I mean, then I put the talking point as how rich you are in Shanghai. Do you own some kind of mansion in the Xijiao, district, or do you have a restaurant owned by you in Huanghe Road in Shanghai? And they got silenced, because this is what it is, right? This is the real meaning of a citizen in Shanghai. You don't own too much things, right? And then, I know them. They were not born in Shanghai. They came to Shanghai from the other places. They have this kind of, inferiority, actually, because China is a top-down tiered society, right? If you are from, I'm Shanghainese, I don't have any intention to look down upon them. But the reality is, if you are a Shanghainese, because Shanghainese would like to call them 外地人, right, or the Outlanders. So if you are Outlander of Shanghai, then once you get into Shanghai, you got discriminated, right? Even you don't have a hukou system registered in the Shanghai metropolitan, which means you will not get the Shanghai social benefit, right? So those guys, I know a lot of them are from the villages. A lot of them are from small places. They are probably like good at studying, so they maybe enter the university. Then later on, they searching for a job and coming to Shanghai. But life for them is also very difficult. I'm not like try to sit in a position try to belittle them, but this is the reality, right? It's the reality of these kind of people and their life in Shanghai. It's also very difficult for those guys to afford an apartment nowadays in Shanghai. When Shanghainese, more or less, you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, properties owned in that place. But they do have this kind of deluded perspective. They still think Shanghai, or they still think China is the great place. I think maybe this is because the medias, are pushing the same content, information in front of their face, and especially when the whole education system that they experienced in mainland is only a Chinese education system. It doesn't give them a lot of critical thinking and seeing stuff from different angles, right? So that is the problem. When they talk about how bad and how it's not fair, or not how they are suffered in Canada, what's the point? Keep you stay over there, right? You are like it feels like a Stockholm syndrome, you are not satisfied someplace, but you're still doing this kind of job, right? But actually, I think they know some of the good side of Canada, but they just don't want to admit it. I know their background when I talk to the other colleagues, because they have problem, or that person specifically have problem to merge into the mainstream life in Canada. Sometimes it's the language barrier. Sometimes it's just the psychological and mindset, or the way how do they acting in the other countries. So I think he recently got fired by our company because he could not merge into the team and cooperate with people from different backgrounds. I'm not intentionally blame this kind of people when they really have the difficulties, but this kind of personality, it shows this like cowardness of personality. When they are facing difficulties, they are not examine themselves and try to improve themselves. They are trying to blame the environment around them. I mean, if Canada is intentionally, or if Canada is some kind of place, discriminate Chinese people, you wouldn't have a chance to migrate to Canada, right? The Canadian government give you a chance and allowed you to move into their country, and they allowed you to working over there, and you still think that is kind of discrimination or something, which is so ridiculous. And this is very irritating me because I mean, as a strong character, or if you really want to improve yourself, you have to improve yourself rather than blame everyone outside, right? So for me, I know their language ability is kind of poor, and also when they cooperated in the team, they do have problem to merge in the team and work with maybe Canadian colleagues or the colleagues from all over the world. And that is also a problem of the Chinese education system, because for those guys who are, grew up in the mainland, in the university or in the whole education system, they didn't get a chance to contact to people from different backgrounds. Nowadays, if you are, studying an international school, but those international schools are established, majority of the international schools are established for foreign expats living in China. Some of the rich Chinese parents will send them, but for the people from small places, even especially when their family background isn't that rich, isn't that leveled on the top, elite group, or I can't say the rich group of China, they wouldn't have any chance to get into that environment. So yeah, I mean, but that really creates some kind of problem for their life afterwards, because it stops them to be able to cooperate and work with the people from different background, and working in a global environment actually. Well, so another topic they were talking about was, it is so easy to earn money nowadays in China than Canada or than Sweden or than the country where they are living. I mean, it is a totally lame and deluded viewpoint. I mean, if you understand the reality in China, to earn money is very difficult actually. You have to work longer time, and you would have less vacational days, and also a lot of overtimes without payment. I have been talking about the 996 and the lying down, lying flat stuff, right? It is all tells the reality of nowadays for the young generation in China. Finding a job isn't that easy, and especially during the pandemic period, a lot of people losing job, and especially the international companies, a lot of retreated right from China, moving their business out of China. So the only option is working for the state-owned company, and a lot of talking point that they will talk about was, if you are working for state company one, or even those internet tycoons, right? But if you really understand China, you follow the China news, the internet companies are now facing big problems because of the the government changed the policy, and a lot of them are in quite a difficult time period, and especially those shares or the stock market in American so and so. And but those kind of people, they are kind of detached to the reality of China, and they kept saying it is still very easy to earn 1 million in China. I mean, even during the golden ages, back to 2015 or 2013, if you want to have like 1 million annual income, it's not that easy. And a lot of them are just deluded, right? I know, people were talking about if you are working in Baidu or Tencent before, you can get 1 million, but that is for some specialists, very strong, skilled engineers in China. It's not like everyone can get 1 million. If everyone can get 1 million a year, then how high the cost of the Chinese companies are, right? But they think maybe you can get high salary in the state-owned company. But I have been working in the state-owned company. Some of the managers or some of the management level, maybe they can get quite high payment, but it's not for everyone, right? It is still a pyramid system. Only the top people can earn, and the rest, the vast majority, are on very least, actually, right? And if you look at the data statistics report of 2021, the new graduates nowadays in China cannot even earn 5,000 RMB a month, right? I mean, only like 4% or 3% of the new graduates can earn 10K a month RMB. I mean, which is quite low, right? It's totally diluted. I mean, if you say you can earn a lot of money in China, maybe you are a multi-billionaire, you are doing business in China, and you have a strong connections to the Chinese government, and you can do some special business over there, then maybe you can earn a lot of money. But if you are just a tiny Mr. Wang from a village and graduated even from the top university, if you want to earn a lot of money in China, I'm not saying it's totally impossible, but 90 or 80% of the chances you wouldn't get what you expected, right? The social welfare system in Canada is definitely better than China. I mean, especially for those people who don't have a Shanghai hukou or something. Even you do have a Shanghai hukou like me, I still, choose to stay in Sweden, because what's the point, right? I do the same job, I enjoy my life, but here, the social welfare system is way better than Shanghai, right? Even I'm a Shanghainese, I do have Shanghai hukou, right? I have, properties and cars and all these kind of materials, right? If all these kind of properties back there, but still, you got a better, reliable social system here. I know the tax that I paid here in Sweden will benefit me in the future, and my retirement in Sweden is way stable. So yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much what I'm going to talk about in this video. And this is a big topic, a lot of talking points maybe I can pick up in the future, because I mean, a lot of audience of mine are from Western countries, I think you will find this kind of characters or this kind of deluded Chinese around you. They are not the minorities, right? They are almost the majorities, right? And very seldom you will find people have different opinion, compared to them, and they can agree with me. So yeah, if you do have any opinions, maybe you can leave your comments, and hopefully you guys can enjoy the video. And see you guys next time.